Yeah, but it automatically turns that screen into that. I didn't do anything except join.
Well, that's weird. But at least you don't have to be me.
Yes. Just trying to figure out how to share so that everybody can see it though.
There's something with the it's gotta be something with the view. What's the black and white thing in the bottom?
I can create a new desktop.
Don't ask me. This is not, this is not my thing.
And of course, I'm not down there.
Of course.
What are you trying to do, Kristen?
The view on the TV is odd, like it's not the full, click on the two up, the upper right where it's like the full screen, like does that do anything, like that one? Nothing.
Pretty good.
I love it, I love it.
I even stick to the doggy.
Oh, that's funny.
Kristen Mouse with it.
All of that.
I know she getting out of it.
So what's the green thing on the bottom?
No, we don't want to.
I don't know.
You can't even figure it out.
What's that?
That's why I come in person.
So you get that, you get entertainment on the show.
Love to help you guys with different things, but I don't know. Okay. Haley, what can you see? Can you see anything? Can you
Can you
hear?
hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I see you. I mean, the owl is working.
I'm sharing your screen. Must be.
I am not seeing your screen, no.
Okay.
So you have to hit the share button and then select which screen
Where
you
you
want
want
that
to
to.
see.
There you go. Whoa.
Ah.
Not that
I
one.
just can't see my laptop, but this is what's happening here. Okay.
All right. You're doing a great job.
Can we restart that?
Whatever you're doing, don't do that.
I just did what you told me.
She's just throwing it on the floor and jumping on it.
There you go.
Sure, you're right.
I hear that.
Don't ask me. It was working earlier.
Nobody's really sure what's happening, so we're fine. Everything's fine. Good. All right, Kaylee, can you see the graph? Great.
Yep.
You're still sitting in a theater seat, but we're gonna just go with it.
I really want to see that again.
No, I'm not moving anything else around because I don't know if I can get it back. All right. Hi, how's everybody doing? Thank you for coming today to our show. All right. Do you want to intro or anything to what I'm about to do, or what do you have anything first?
Yeah, I can do my part first.
Perfect.
So, trail crew postings, listings, for our jobs have been posted. Been meeting with the regional group, actually, some good dialogue today with them. A lot of them are in the beginning stages or not there yet. Oswego had a few issues pop up with their landowners. And then, a few other odd counties now wanna jump on, so Delaware, which would be for Walton.
Okay.
And then I forget where the other one was, but like there's a few others that wanna join it as well to see what everybody's doing. So we're hoping April to have a crew on staff and ready to go. And we also need to get the ambassador application out, so that'll go out with the meeting minutes, newsletter. We'll make sure that gets out with it. And then like it'll send out to our group, but if there's somebody within your club that you feel would be a good ambassador, make sure they get it. We'll get those going. If we did not see a lot of activity last year and they're not on your group ride or that, I do need to know like who in your club is active. And if they're not, I'm gonna ask them to return their stuff. And my goal is to do maybe different stickers this year for them, so easier to identify.
Identify them.
Yeah, so, but I wanna make sure that the people get it. It's a lifetime one. So I want them to be people we've approved and we know are gonna be good. So, you know, the ones that have been doing and been reporting great, they'll get a lifetime sticker. And then the ones that aren't, that were in trial stage, will get the regular permit till we know they're good to go. So, I'll let you, Kristen, if you wanna, do you have anything on it?
We took our 305 cat out, our new excavator, mini excavator. It's got a foil mower on it. We started on the railroad bed. We thought it'd be a good time of the year to brush as much as we can during the off season. The snowmobile trail's closed and, we haven't opened yet. So last week we brushed from, River Street in Glenfield to Burdick's Crossing, and then we wanted to continue going south. Today we're doing maintenance on other equipment and stuff, so hopefully tomorrow.
Yep.
That's about it, really.
Okay.
Good.
Yep, I think we're good.
All right, so bear with me on this process, but this is kind of the outcome from the questionnaires, the surveys that we sent out, the conversations that we've all had internally in regards to what the priorities are for the entire trail system, kind of for like a 3 to 5 year time frame, depending on, you know, funding, resources, volunteers, etc. So what my plan today is I want to go through what I've put together already, but also I want to identify who the stakeholders are going to be for some of these initiatives, because this is not just an initiative that Jackie and the crew are gonna take on and run with. It's to support the entirety of the trail system. So if that is, you know, other businesses that are not at the table that need to be involved, other, I don't know, government officials or municipalities, et cetera, whatever we determine, as we kind of go through this list is who we want to bring to the table, because it makes more sense to have more partners and resources versus all of us trying to struggle to do it individually. Any questions on that? Good. Okay, so while I'm going through this, I am going to ask you to give me what your opinion is on some of these, on its kind of level of priority. Is it really high priority? We want whoever it is that's going to take ownership of this initiative working on it really steady right off the bat, or is it something that can maybe go on a back burner? We're not really sure what the process is or who should be involved. So as we go through, this has got to be like a lot of communication from you guys though, which is not, no offense, not always our strength at this meeting. So obviously we want to have your information. We want to know what you guys think, what you guys want to be responsible for, what you don't want to be responsible for, etc. Does that make sense? All right. So this is kind of a high level overview of all of the priorities. When we took all 5 of those surveys, brought all of the answers back together, these were kind of those big, almost like ticket items, so to speak, on what we wanted to do. So expanding, connecting the trail network, trail navigation, infrastructure improvements, strengthen community and business engagement, sustainable funding mechanisms, and maintaining industry leader status, which sounds fantastic, but what does all of that mean? So each one of those is now broken down into kind of the goal or vision and the reasoning behind that particular goal. And then kind of a couple of ideas and direction that we want to go for each one of those. There is still a little fine tuning, which is why you all don't have a beautiful copy in your hands to take notes on. There's a couple more changes I want to potentially make. Plus, I want feedback from you guys on whether you think this makes sense or not, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are going to be doing this. So it needs to make sense to us and not just one or two of us or me, because I spent hours staring at it on a computer. So good. Any questions on that? All right. Let's see. I think what we're gonna do, because all of this, like I said, this one here is just a really high overview. I'm gonna go to the other screen where we broke it down into priorities. So what I did, this is the big pillar that we had across the top. There's the 5 of them down the left-hand side.
Can you zoom in? Sorry, I
Yeah.
old eyes.
No, you're fine. Can I zoom in? Maybe. I don't know.
There you go.
So the idea is this spreadsheet we can use kind of as we come to these meetings, almost as an agenda to hold us accountable and keep everything in line. So we're kind of going over the same exact things in the same exact order every single time we meet in order to make things work. So in regards to expanding and connecting the trail system, these were the 4 kind of highlights that came out. So connecting existing trails and reducing dead ends, opportunities to connect to other areas and towns, identifying and developing new trails, and securing access to private lands for trail expansion. So what I want to do for each one of these 4 with you guys right now is identify who's going to be kind of the lead, who's taking on a lead for each one of those bullet points and that priority level. So conversation, thoughts, etc. Jackie, do you want to start?
Well, obviously, I think I need to be involved with everything, but this is where do you think your clubs can partner? Or should it be businesses? Should it be? So I would like your input, so please comment.
Michael, do you have a comment? That's useful.
To me, I don't worry about dead ends, but I do wanna connect more trails. So we have some standalones. We started some community outreach, and you only get so far with those. I'm somebody new to the area. I'm not known in the area. So if I'm working West Leyden to Osceola, is this something the clubs can help us get a few more landowners along there? Can we do private meetings with one-on-one with you and I to look through the maps to say, who can we outreach to?
I think that would probably be a good idea. Right now, we're trying to reach out to the existing landowners,
Right.
you know, and making
Even
them
that
aware
is-
that we are going with the
right.
county. I'm from the High Market Wheelers. Anyway, trying to make them aware that we're going with the county, and we haven't had a good response. You know, we have 4 or 5 of them are maybe locked in, and maybe one of the problems are that some of the landowners don't even live nearby.
Right, and some are not in the
Yeah.
area, and we get that, and that's where, like, I had offered to come to your club.
Yes,
meetings.
and I hope some landowners show up, so, because I think they're a little confused with the application with the driver's
And I
license
think
and
that
being,
is- That is
the notarized.
confusing.
Going to get it
and-
notarized was a big problem for a few,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
they're
'cause-
farmers and they're working and they're running around and they don't have time to do that, but then we had told them, I had mentioned it to 3 of them that. you know,
Just take a picture of your driver's
I mean,
license.
the secretary has called them numerous times, and, you know, we can't get them to commit. It's
Right,
almost like
that's
they have
why
a
I
knock
thought
on
if
the
I
door.
come to a meeting, is it easier, and then,
Yes.
do you want me
Right.
to outreach after that?
And I'm
I
putting
just try not to push that step, but I don't mind pushing after we've tried other venues.
Right, I mean, I have it on the Facebook page, you know, and stuff, so,
And to me, we need to keep pushing that, and I'll be honest, with McKenna out on maternity leave, my productivity is not where I want it to be as far as getting those things wrapped up. So I've kind of like, I
Right,
let your secretary kind of run with it
yeah,
until, you know.
yeah, but I
have
mean,
more
I think
time.
it's logical for us to try to work with you to expand the trail system in that area. You know, we do have a commitment from one person on Osceola Road, down by Swampit Mills, the old Freeman Hotel, the person that owns that property.
Yeah, they already have a signed agreement.
Yeah, all right, so I guess that's a start, I don't know.
Yeah, right, but it's getting the connections, everybody
Right.
working together.
I mean, you
If
can't,
they had some kind of initiative from the county to be a landowner, you know, but the county's never gonna do that, like a reduced tax rate or something like that.
Yeah, and
then
that's
that would-
not,
that would
because
be-
that's a state level
No, right,
thing, and
right.
then to the general
Then everybody's
obligations
on
law, yeah. So, yeah, that's not an option for us, but we
Right.
can improve access, we can do a lot of other things, and that's, you know, I'm glad you guys are letting me come to your meeting, I'll do. my
Yeah,
best.
don't expect too much, 'cause it's our first meeting under the new guard, so.
And you can tell
Might be
me
a
like,
little
this is
organized.
something we need to do another time, so.
Might be a little
I can always
organized.
bring my notary stamp. I can do a
that
traveling
would be
notary
great.
show too.
oh, that'd be good.
Yeah,
I'll get there in my ink.
it's still the same thing though, even with a notary, you gotta show your driver's license, so.
We have one that might sign up right off the bat, so we have to bring your stamp.
Okay.
Right.
All right, priorities wise though, would we say this is a one, like the trail system is going to suffer if this doesn't happen, if more doesn't develop in the next 3 to 5 years? Is it a two? We would like it to develop, but it's not needed. 3, it's a back burner and we would like it. Thoughts?
I think it's important.
One,
One,
Yeah,
one,
there's no wrong answers. You guys tell me.
Every year, that's like the main, question or topic.
Mhm.
so to me, the community connectors are huge. You know, it's not my ideal trail system, but I think we need to help the businesses, and maybe this is something where we need to do more outreach with the businesses too. Like, do you wanna get connected? Don't just call me and say you wanna get connected. Help me find landowners in your area.
Who has decent connections with their business owners that are in their area that would be willing to have conversations like that?
Up in Birmingham, the only business that supports the ATV business is the Birmingham station. The rest of them, they don't even join our club, they don't do nothing.
Pine Tree sponsors us.
Well, you're lucky, cause they want us.
I know, he was very.
Because they know who we are and they'll come to us, that's what you get.
He was very open. He said he'd do anything to help our club.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do anything for you guys?
Wow.
So I don't know.
Probably some relationship rebuilding there somehow. And I will say I've found that across the county in other kind of tourism industries that I'm working in, there's just been bad blood because of previous stuff that's happened. And you gotta, unfortunately, that it's happened. And if you want the success of the trail system, we gotta figure out how to get
You
around
get
some of
somebody
those.
that destroys or
Mhm.
pollutes their land or whatever.
Yeah.
Word gets out in a heartbeat up here.
Mhm.
And then they'll say, hey, I'm gonna close my trails too, cause I don't want that happening.
Yep.
Years ago, the club used to have meetings at Whiskey Jack's and stuff, and then there was an argument. I don't know what it was all about. It was before I got involved. But
Yeah.
now everything seems smooth over.
Yeah.
Now Whiskey Jack's is
I think
legislative
it's
stuff, you
just,
know.
if you got, honestly, if there's conversations, if you have businesses that you feel like you're struggling with or whatever, and you want somebody to kind of play that mediator to have conversations start again, I don't mind being that, because I think it's really important that we fix some of these relationships. That I'm not
Right.
expecting like sunshine and rainbows across the county here, but we can probably fix some of these things, because I think a lot of them were misunderstandings or
Mhm.
previous people that were just in roles that maybe shouldn't have been or whatever at the time, so.
Or different policies.
Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, perfect. I think that one's a pretty simplistic, we probably knew that one was coming, right? All right, trail navigation infrastructure. There were a ton of suggestions on the surveys that came in regards to what we should do for infrastructure along the trails, including, very large event centers that should just pop up apparently in the middle of Tug Hill. So, we did,
Taco Bell.
yeah, exactly, like between Hook and Montague, we just want like a nice little KFC Taco Bell combination, thanks. So we pulled some of that stuff out, obviously, and this is kind of what boiled down, right? So improved signage throughout the system, developing fun zones or play areas, adding amenities such as scenic lookouts, restrooms, a lot of kind of camps, rustic campsites was another one that came up a few times. And then highlighting trail etiquette and rules along the actual trail system and not just kind of on maps or in other pieces, but figuring out how to do that on the trail system. Once you have people out there that are already there and might not have that education piece. So let's start off with priority, 1, 2, or 3. 1, we need to fix all this stuff real fast. 2, we should be plugging away at it. 3, it's a back burner.
I don't think you can put all of 4 of those in the same number.
That's fine. We can break them up
I
too.
think signage needs to be a 1.
That's- Yeah,
Yes.
that's important.
I think kiosks need to be put up in certain,
They're new ideas,
Intersections,
where they're
too.
going.
The hard part with intersections is like you don't want people stopping at the intersection. So like
true.
if you could do
Well,
like
they
your
should stop at an
place
intersection.
just
Yeah.
before they get to the
Yeah.
road, we
Right.
could put it, you have one, right?
Yeah.
Well, I did it myself, yeah,
Maybe
Yeah,
one.
but that's where, you know,
right.
Proof of
adding
concept,
more
though.
in areas,
work.
like where else,
Yeah,
where
people-
else
yeah.
within your trail system?
People stop
do
and
you
look at it,
think-
so
yeah.
they, you know,
People, where else in your trail system do you think they should be added?
I don't know, I'd have to think about that,
Okay,
you know, but,
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of places.
right.
You are, where you, yeah, 'cause I don't know the names of
And is that like a partnership with the business? Do you put them in business parking lots? Do you put them on the business
Right.
wall? Do you?
That would lead into my next question is who's owning, who's leading the
Right,
signage
because
creation?
we've put up kiosks and then they've been taken over, like
The problem with putting it in
Barnes
businesses,
Corners is notorious. That's the biggest one. Like we put it up, had our stuff on it. They switched landowners and now it's their advertising on our kiosk. And I don't think they even knew it was our kiosk.
They didn't. I went into the store and in a polite way, I said, "Excuse me, could we put our maps on our kiosk?" They said, "The kiosk." I go, "That one next to the storage buildings you're putting up?" And they had their advertisement for their storage buildings on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, if you put them in the driveways at the businesses down in our area, they're gonna be destroyed with the snow and the snowmobilers
Yeah.
and plowing snow and stuff. All the signs that
The signs are
Ryan
all
put up
down.
on my trail are destroyed from the
Just from the
snowplow. I mean, they
snow.
just dumped the snow on top of them. They're destroyed. The poles are bent, torn off.
So with that, is it something like, do you think we could pull the trail ambassadors to help with signage and
Yeah,
making sure the kiosks are up to date and?
I can help with that.
Do any
So,
of the riders, I was just thinking about this, do any of the riders wanna know, like, is there a destination they're trying to get to? Like, say you wanna get from Branningham and you wanna go to the Hideaway, would the Hideaway, or just as an example, would that be a destination? And then, you know, it has an arrow,
Right,
cause I know the
That's what they-
snowmobile clubs.
that's what they need up there, cause no one, I mean, we'll pass and people say, where's the restaurant out here? There's no signage up in that.
Right, and as far as advertising, I don't wanna start with one and then have everybody
Right.
else mad at me. So do we do like
Right,
high market or areas?
I think the bars should be responsible for their own signs.
That's what I think too.
You know, if they wanna
And
have a
that-
sign on the trail,
It's whether you.
go out and put it on there.
Right,
can they do
I
that?
just had this
Are they allowed?
discussion with Bill Heidiss. They put some really nice kiosks down in Deerfield, and they're really nice. And he said the one thing they did was decide to just put destinations like towns. You know, if you know you're going to
Right, towns.
the Alamo, you know you gotta go to Poland, right? So that's what they put on the sign, and the kiosks are beautiful. And what they did was got sponsors paid $250 to get their name on top of the kiosk and all the information underneath it. And they're really nice.
Cause I think ours originally were designed for a sign on the bottom
Mhm.
for advertising, but I had never pushed it.
Yeah,
And I
I
don't know if
consider
that's,
any, I don't remember when we did the snowmobile kiosks 2 years ago.
that didn't have advertisers. It had blank spots where they could point arrows in directions, and I don't know if they did.
Those look like
Businesses
snow-
or,
Here.
yeah, that's what she's asking about.
Mhm.
But I don't know, you guys do your ones for Branningham for snowmobile. Did you put
We put
businesses or did you just do
both.
both?
Yeah.
Do we do that same type of template for our, within the kiosk?
I think it would be smart because then we're branding ourselves as well, right? So there's consistency with the signage, whether you're writing winter or summer, so people know what they're looking out for versus, oh, well, it's summer, so now I've got to look for the wooden kiosks versus, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I think create it, and it adds to the experience as well. Like when you're coming up, you're seeing all of the same things.
How about the kiosks that are out there for snowmobiles? Change the map out?
I don't think snowmobile clubs would let us in some of the locations. We don't have access.
Yeah, that'd be the other one, because snowmobile kiosks our trails, let's say. I don't want
Some
people
are on private.
Right, you don't want
land.
to think of
confused. and stuff.
cross.
They're in the middle of the field. somewhere.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if the
yeah.
kiosk itself is,
And is it something like snowmobile where we need to be taking them down in the fall?
yes, I think so.
Or is it something where we leave them up year round?
Not if they're gonna get taken out by snow.
Cause you're still standing.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
That's why I'm like, don't put them near the road.
Back away from the road, that's why it's still standing.
Maybe we
So-
need to think about locations.
New kiosks then is something we want to
Yeah,
attempt
so
to
if
develop.
everybody
Like a
can
standard.
think about where they want kiosks for next meeting.
Like
or
where
email
would you
me
put,
Locations.
how many? 2? Each club, 2, 3 kiosks? Like, in an ideal world, if you could have kiosks, where would you put them?
I would put them where people unload, which was Hideaway's parking lot is one spot. Barrows is another spot people unload. High Market is places that people unload and for our club.
But I feel like with the places that people unload, typically they have service, right? They're on,
Yeah.
like, do we want to have these
There, I
kiosks
don't
in the
know.
places where?
They already
Is that-
had a location.
Sure.
Now I don't know where I am because my stuff's not working.
Yeah, ours was at the gas
That's
station.
what some
The one in
folks-
Copenhagen that was on this parking area. Was that yours?
Mhm.
Yours? Is it up to date?
The road from the
Got
300 drivers.
A sign on it. It doesn't have maps. It just has the sign with QR codes.
Because a lot of machines on this.
On them there.
I think they need to be standardized though, so they're all the
Yes.
same color, same border or whatever, make them fluorescent orange or something, you know? so
Yeah,
they're all
I
the
feel
same.
like if we
We need to
copy
brand it.
that, if we copy that kind of model that we have for the
Kiosk?
snowmobile kiosks.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, there's.
you're gonna work on that too for me?
But too, it's helping educate the beginners who've never been to this area.
Correct.
You know, I mean,
Correct.
it doesn't answer everything for them, but,
Mhm.
you know, be like, hey, where's this pine tree in, or where's the high market, you know?
All right, so homework for all you guys, next meeting. How many places, Jackie? 3, 4? 4 ideal places. for
Hey,
next-
Let me jump in here real quick. There is a kiosk in our back corner at the towpath down there that was put in, but it has an old sign there that was, I think, sponsored by Tuggers. So I don't know. I know. Robert and his crew a couple years back had put that in. They moved it from somewhere else and brought it down. So that's in good condition. Just needs to be the signage needs to be updated on that. Maybe some new plexiglass to cover the maps and some of that stuff. But that's if you get us the stuff for the club, we can handle the taking care of getting that one resituated with some new graphics.
So
Do we
maybe
have an
that's what we do, is
inventory?
everybody in your area check out how many we have,
Yeah,
locations that we have them. And then needs of those that we have, and then locations you would like to see more.
And that would be
Because
like,
a lot of people stop at that kiosk, and we see it on a regular basis. They look, we try to throw a map up there every time we can, but this winter, I think that the plexiglass, the map that was in there is just, it's really deteriorated. It's hard to see, but that one does get used quite a bit actually when they come down, when they unload or when they're lost, because a lot of times they try to go down to the west wind and they don't know where they're supposed to be going. They'll stop there and look at the map.
I did, when I put the map order in, I ordered 20 of them laminated.
Did you?
Those are for you to distribute as accordingly as you see fit. Don't come for me.
Well, laminate isn't waterproof, because we
Yeah.
discussed that too.
But, I mean,
It helps
gives it a little
some.
bit of durability for sure. Okay, all right.
So, what did you think we had, 14
what's that?
kiosks?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Altogether?
Yeah, yeah. I think too, in these areas, like he just mentioned, and the thing that came to my mind was, that's a real high traffic issue. So as we're looking at other places, maybe, I mean, they're all important, but real high traffic areas.
Yeah.
Maybe something on the railroad bed, somewheres.
And we have planned, on the new expansion, one thing I forgot to mention, we are, at our April board meeting, we are setting a public hearing for our May board meeting for opening Cemetery Road, Glendale Road, Glenfield Road, Main Street and Blue Street to connect between trails. So that'll give us the connection from Martinsburg to Glenfield. The plan is to add 3 kiosks there, one at Pioneer Cafe. We'll be expanding their parking lot and putting the kiosk in as a destination, one at Tiss's where it connects between Glendale Road and Glenfield Road. And then one at the parking area on the field days that the town is giving us out on Blue Street, or off of Blue Street. So the idea is like to add 3 there, but like major intersections, like we have the one at Burdick's Crossing. We have one at the Edge Hotel. But
I think in the next meeting, what I'm gonna do is we'll bring in one of the maps and I'll bring little stickers so we can say, okay, these green dots are where we already have kiosks. And you guys
actually, it's a
bring your.
blue square with a question mark.
I know, but
Sorry.
we need to make it more noticeable while we're staring at it for planning purposes.
Okay, all right, that works.
All right. All right, develop fun zones or play areas, priority level, 1, 2, or 3.
I would say 3. You haven't got hardly any place to have a.
Right. It'd have to be on private property, maybe,
Yeah.
Okay, so who would take the lead on those?
That would be Ryan. All on him.
So Ryan and landowners, probably private landowners.
Yeah, I mean, Timberview has a play area, right?
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, I wouldn't want one on my property because I know what happens.
Right, it's a
Right.
play area.
And we
Well,
have,
they don't respect it. It's gonna be a large play area by the
well,
time it's done.
and 2, the liability.
Right.
Yeah.
So with Timberview, apparently it's changing landowners. It's going into Timberview Resorts. I'm not sure who the new entity that will be. But for me, I look at it as, I don't know if we want mud areas when they're so close to federal
State lands.
federal wetlands next to state lands. Like, he just lets them go wherever.
Wherever they, yeah.
And if it comes back on me, that's why our seeker was only for the driveway across. Because sending people out back to play in the mud, I don't wanna be the one liable for that with, we have enough overview and, people are looking at us for what we're doing wrong, that wanna shut things down or turn us in. I don't want my name on that.
I don't blame you.
So we do put some play areas in. Actually, it's usually if a trail punches through, landowner's willing. Or on county land, we do a reroute. If you don't like mud, you don't have to do it. But we had talked about areas like the spider web and the commons. can you make some of the cross trails play areas? We have the donut hole. I don't know how many of you have been to the commons, but we have the donut hole. Like, to me, that's a play area. Could you do a zigzag trail where you can get some spin up? Like, could you do camelbacks? I mean, to me, that's things that could be added.
Could we add that to a county parcel that doesn't have any trails developed in it yet?
Yeah.
Just, throwing that out there.
Look at things a little different and not
So-
just get to point A to point B, but for fun. As we're developing trails, what else can we do when we look at trail layout?
Okay.
So I think that one is a 2.5.
2.5, okay, perfect. We need more options.
I agree, 2.5.
Thanks, Kaylee. All right, next one was add amenities. So we're talking scenic lookouts, restrooms, campsites. Ryan obviously is doing real great at what he can while he's out there. I know he points things out, but do we want to have more, I guess, formalized, like lookout points specifically, I think.
So some of the scenic things that we're doing are a hike down to the water because of the environmental concerns. And Ryan and I are, I think, both kind of looking at that on county land when we look at layout and what we're doing. Picnic areas, campsite type deal. We need signage for those, but like,
Over at the gorge, is that,
you can park on the road and
well, I
walk
mean, that's what it
in.
is. Who's, is that county land? Is that private land?
No, it's parks, New York State
That's the
Parks.
parks.
Yeah,
I know whenever we go, we always park along the road
right.
and then we walk into the,
Yeah.
And I'd love
that
to
is a nice
put
spot.
That
signage
was
there that
abused.
says that, but
That's abused now, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
years ago, you could take your sled in there, now they have it all roped off because the roots are all exposed and stuff. So people just abuse it,
yeah. Respect is huge.
I
But
wonder
I
if
think
there's,
too, pushing that agenda, whether it's Kaylee through our Facebook, pushing we kind of added the little signage on the maps that we're printing, the Ride with Respect, the forever, ride for keeps.
Mhm.
I mean, those other nice spots in the area too, but it's like, do you mention them or?
Yeah.
Cause you know what I mean? You don't want
Your favorite location.
that to
Be
happen
overwhelmed.
and then they ruin it for everybody.
Right.
I don't know what kind of signage is up at the gorge, I don't think there's
None.
very much signage, maybe the county should jump on that and, get
Wanna
a secure,
legally How much I can,
oh, that's state land, you said.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then a town road, so
Oh.
I could probably work with the town to put a sign up. Like,
So is there overlap with the kiosks? Like, can we put the kiosks where there are these scenic lookouts where we want people to kind of,
Yeah.
let's herd people to kind of the areas where we want them to park and relocate and, get their bearings, et cetera.
Well, whose area,
That's a
club
question.
area would that be? The gorge.
town of Martinsburg. isn't
Yeah,
it?
but I mean, what club, it wouldn't be raining again, but,
So you're saying that is?
no, but I mean, with,
So let me put it this way, it's a county-wide system, why does it matter if it's your club's area or their club's area or whoever's club's area? Aren't we all working for the
Yeah.
betterment of everything?
In the bathroom.
So if you're out riding and you know of a need, might not be in your area, like, where do you ride? What do you see? What do you,
but the only thing is if our club started doing stuff on the hill and another club was there and didn't do anything, it's like,
Well, what are you gonna do on the hill?
I don't know.
Oh, so you're just,
Let's say if I put a kiosk, if we could, by the gorge,
well, to me, this is a group effort, so like if you wanted to bring it to the table, okay, your club wants to add a kiosk to theirs.
yeah, when I said each club bring 4 spots or whatever for kiosks or even the scenic lookouts, it's just because I would assume that you know more about your, general vicinity than anybody else. But if you ride in other areas and you have ideas, bring those too. I don't think there's any wrong conversations to have.
Right.
Cause if we need to work together to make it work, then we need to work
Right.
together.
Well, just like the courts, they really don't have any signs up there at all.
No.
There's nothing.
No, they have rope up.
They don't.
Yeah,
Well, that obviously
don't
doesn't-
cross the bridge, but maybe that's, we would make a Facebook or an Instagram reel about, you go to Eatonville Bridge, but you can't cross the bridge. You park on this side, you go and enjoy the area and then, you know, did you know this is here? These are the rules.
Which leads us into highlight trail etiquette and rules. Oh, I need a priority for the adding amenities. Is that also a 2.5?
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Trail etiquette and rules. I think we can be strategic with this and like adding that stuff to the kiosks, but also having more of the ambassador kind of sharing their knowledge while they're out on the trails if they're talking
And the
to
club's
people.
posting, like, it doesn't have to come through us.
Yeah.
It can be, you guys, when you're out riding, this is my favorite spot to go. And then look at, you know, if there's beer cans or whatever we're picking up, cleaning up, everybody should do their share, you know, carry it in, carry it out, like, get the different messages that we want as a group to get out there. So what can we work on? You know, do we
And-
look at tread lightly or do we come up with our own?
Again, we're kind of like leading the charge, and when it comes to side by sides and ATV trails, we're still the only county, I think, that has an actual functioning permitting
St.
system.
Lawrence does too right now.
They have the permit system.
They copied ours.
It's not really functioning great. I'm biased.
You're biased.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's great. Okay, so I would say highlight trail etiquette and rules. That's gonna be kind of everybody's, but I do think that that is a priority because the more that those rules.
I think that's one.
Things are being broken,
What are the rules?
don't be a jerk.
Right.
Wear your helmet.
Stay on the trails.
Buy your
Take your
permit.
garbage with you. Yeah.
Carry in, carry out.
So I do the memberships. Is that something that we can put into like a pamphlet or something and send out with the memberships?
How about you read this and you sign it before you get your permit? Just throw.
Yeah, but we have that as the waiver and they don't read it. They just click. So maybe it is something that we can mail out.
Newsletter. That's where we put it.
You know, we have a little thank you that we do. Maybe it should be on there. I don't know if we put the for keeps on that or not.
I'm sorry, I don't know this answer off the top of my head. Who sends out the club memberships? The clubs send out their own memberships or Kaylee sends out the memberships?
Haley does certain clubs and then other
Some
clubs do
clubs do
their own.
their, okay. So if we designed a simple insert that goes into a regular sized envelope that we could just distribute to everybody.
I'd say
You
cart
guys
stock
could.
smaller, you know.
Well, if you just had a little insert, I'll take Branningham, for instance, up to Covach, she has a number there, and so when she does their permit there, they just hand them a piece of paper.
Yeah. So if I just had the little, everybody could hand them out with a piece of paper or put
Something
in the
that
mail,
we can
whatever
put
it
on the
is.
kiosk, something that we can,
Something that's,
yeah, you're gonna be busy.
thanks. I take back all the other offers I made. Alright, I plan on going right until 5, but I don't think that we're gonna get through the whole thing because it is a lot and that's fine. I'm just thinking that, and if you guys are okay with that, we'll just continue like plugging away at it at each meeting and then we'll go back to the top and kind of refresh where we're at. Does that work with everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And hopefully we'll be able to start crossing some of them off. That's the plan, is eventually we cross them off and don't have to hit them all. All right. Strengthen community and business engagement, and this kind of, I think, this is a really big one, because there's just so many relationships in a community. There's, the business to resident, to tourist, to whatever, there's a lot of stuff going on. So the first thing that came back with these was we need obviously ambassadors for the trail system, but not just ambassadors to the other riders that are on the trails, but also ambassadors to the people that are making decisions, like the county manager and your legislators, and even at the state level. So who is the ambassador and who's talking positively and wanting to improve the trail system to everybody?
So I think the ambassador program is great, but do we need to do a training with it? Like what expectations, get them on board with what our goals, the rules, because they're gonna be the first voice out there,
I think that's a good idea.
you know, and do you think that's too much to ask?
No.
To have a meeting like this with them to say, you know, it's while you're riding to think of, look at the signs, is the post leaning, has the sign been stolen?
So could you
Is-
do with something online?
Is the trail access to the road
That would be
being
easy
dug
for some
out
people.
and, you know, it needs some fill? Is there
I am-
drainage issues?
Yeah, just the reporting stuff.
And then what you're hearing in the businesses, what are the rumors that are going out? Are people having a good time? Is there issues? Is there something else we need to address?
Yeah. I am going to offer, okay, so I am creating a self-guided, almost, I don't know, presentation to go, it's supposed to go to my board members for, when they are manning trade show booths and talking to people about the area. So basically, I'm making them ambassadors for Lewis County and the trail system. So if I create that self-guided kind of presentation, I don't mind sending that out to all of you guys to take a look at too, because it's gonna have kind of like a high level overview of all the things that we get typically asked, but that might be a good almost
We
101.
may almost want that for our trail ambassadors, like what, you
Yeah,
know, things that frequently questions that come up,
Right.
and answers to them, and then the knowledge of,
But I mean, I like the idea of kind of what we expect them to do,
right,
but at the same note, what we don't want them, like, we don't want you to be law enforcement. That-
no,
you know what I
not
mean?
at all. It's
Right.
friendly conversations.
Yeah,
Places, great places to send people to, help them find their way. What else do we need on the trail system? Obviously signage, but we're working on that.
priorities for creating ambassadors and being ambassadors. 1, 2, 3, 1. And who is in charge of that? Obviously, I'll be in charge of the presentation.
Brian and I can set up a meeting with the ambassadors for a training and conversation. Maybe we'll do a invite to everybody for the ambassador group, sign up everything at once. And that way, those that don't have best can get the best maps. We can have conversations, like,
Yeah.
and then interaction too, like where do they ride? How often do they ride?
Maybe we'll have to go for a ride.
Yeah, maybe the ambassador group needs to go for a ride.
Ooh, we're gonna get to that. That's kind of on the list.
Like this is what I see, you know, and you'd be like, oh, I never paid attention to that. Or you might see something that I'm not paying attention to, you know?
Yeah.
Just as a group.
Well, you're paying attention to different types of things, so like,
And maybe that's something we could wrap in with our landowners, like a landowner appreciation ride, you know, for those that have wheelers and those that don't, like, come. Whether it's like a picnic style, or we go to a business, have breakfast and go, or we go and have lunch, or, you know, figuring something out that way.
right, that's also gonna improve relationships amongst
The landowners and with the
landowners, the
groups.
businesses, et
And
cetera.
doing it together as a group rather than, well, our club is doing a landowner appreciation. It's us as a group doing it, everybody.
Yeah.
But maybe we pick different businesses or different areas so that everybody gets exposure too.
All right, ongoing writer feedback. I felt like that Google Sheets survey actually did work fairly well in regards to collecting data.
So we do it once a year.
My thought is just, why don't we leave like a suggestions type survey out all the time, so people can always just either scan the code or go here and like, it's all, it would, if you're, it could be a rider reporting that something's washed out or there's a tree down even, you know what I mean? If they don't necessarily know where that they are reporting to, could we put that on the website, do you think?
So we have a job form on there now for trail damage, is that what it's called?
Yeah, there's a QR code that they scan, right?
Yeah, but that comes in as a job form, but do we wanna switch it to suggestions?
I'm just thinking
Keep
that
it
would be,
open
just
to-
keep something that's open and running so people know that, you know, we want their feedback and we hear their feedback. We might not always take it into consideration, well, we might not
Like
do
last year, it wasn't even an ambassador. Didn't somebody call? And we had trees down on the railroad bed after a storm.
Yeah, somebody staying at the edge couldn't get back.
They weren't an ambassador, but they reported it and then.
Yeah, and I think there's like emergency situations where that's going to happen, but I think, you know, oh, we happen to notice that whatever side of the
But
trail.
what
is there and
do you do if you're up here riding? The place you're staying, there's one access and trees down. What do you do?
Me, cry, call you.
But who do you call? Like on our trail system, would you know who to call?
I mean, I went the next morning and cut them out, but,
Mhm.
you know, there was a situation where they couldn't get back south. It's the only trail to get back south
Yeah,
to the hotel.
Maybe
So-
the local trail ambassadors have to be responsible for something like that if there's a tree down, you know,
Right.
in the.
But how do we
8 o'clock
know
at night
where
or
to
something.
send them or who,
They
if you're out
probably-
riding, are you gonna know who to call?
They
Like,
probably don't know where they are either.
so I think
No,
maybe
yeah,
there's
that's true.
the opportunity to have like an
the
like
job form,
an
you can click,
emergency
you
situation.
can click on
versus
your
just
map and give them a
suggestions.
kind of location, right?
Mhm.
So that part was handy.
Okay.
And then, but yeah, what do you do?
Put the QR. code
Put your number on.
Kiosk.
Well, that's what
So
I'm
they
wondering,
always go
can we
back.
do
They can always go back to.
trail issues, contact us.
Yeah, I think there needs to be, you need to make it really specific that like, this is for trail issues, like it's a danger, it is whatever versus, I think that we should have a, you know, kiosk here. Like whatever that, like there has to be two different ones because you don't want people that are having emergencies just putting a suggestion in the suggestion box that we
Personally,
only
if
check.
it's an
once a month.
emergency, I hope they're calling 911.
Yeah, well.
And then we actually should work with the sheriff's department and dispatch for contact numbers.
There's no signal.
Jackie Mahoney.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Two bullets down, partner with one. All right, so ongoing rider feedback, I feel like, it should be a priority because we do want, we should want the feedback, we really should. And we should want the people to realize that we are asking for that feedback. Are you guys good with that? And it should be an easy lift, okay. Involve community and planning, I see that being part of that rider feedback, but also there's a ton of community members that don't actually ride. So that was a suggestion that was made on a lot of the surveys in regards to how we better the trail system. How do you suggest we do that? What are some ideas?
You could do,
You go to a board meeting. What's going on in their,
Raise your hand if you go to all the board meetings.
no.
or do you do club outreach, like
Yeah.
community day, come ride our trails? Or partner with us and ride with us, join our club and ride with us. And.
Yeah.
Like, do you, I don't know.
Okay, something to keep in mind. Well, I think that one,
I think going to the board meetings is a good idea because you take like Martinsburg, covers a lot of trail system.
Yeah,
Well,
I was at the last one.
I was just thinking if somebody in your village or municipality isn't aware of it, then they go to their officials and they say, oh yeah, they're, adding a new trail, There's a lot of people
Should be
over
going
there.
to all of them right
No.
now.
Well,
When
and
you
that's
say
where the
community-
partnership- Yeah,
Oh, sorry. When you say community, are we assuming riders or are we assuming the community non-riders?
non-riders.
Everybody.
Well, yeah,
Non-riders.
everybody. But specifically when we're talking about supporting the trail system, we definitely want non-riders to also, even if they're not like rah-rah cheerleaders supporting the trail system, at least not, actively trying to sabotage what's coming in, right? So how do we get people over to
Do we
realize
do
that
more
it's us?
community outreach meetings like we did when we did tried to do our expansion through Glenfield area? Like, do we do more of
I
those?
do think that we don't have enough community outreach events, but that is just my opinion.
Okay,
Yeah, it could be something as simple as doing like a coffee conversation thing where you pick different locations, you have people come out, you just send out flyers or we do some online advertising and just say, hey, we're going to be here from this time to this time. Come have a cup of coffee. We can talk about maybe like a 10-minute sales pitch on what you've got going on the area. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated, but just something in different areas to get the community involved.
we'll nominate you for that one.
Clearly.
I stayed quiet. All right, we have about 7 minutes left, and I know I want to get around to all of the clubs too for the actual roundtable, make sure everybody's, so are we good with we'll cut it off here for this month and we'll
Yep.
pick up there next month?
Yeah, I think you've done a great job.
Well, currently I just gave you and me homework, so I don't know how great I've done it.
No, but I think this is important and I think
Yeah,
getting everybody involved in it
yeah.
and having everybody on the same page is huge.
So homework for next month. Everybody needs to bring kiosk locations and kiosks, current kiosks in their state, period.
And contact information for trail ambassadors.
Yeah, you gotta put Eric then.
So, Jackie, when's it coming up before the legislature? I know you said it.
So the April board meeting is when they'll do the resolutions to set the public hearing. It'll be at the May board meeting. So, luckily, I think our legislators are in favor of doing what we ask. Martinsburg seems to be in favor of doing what we ask, so I'm hoping we won't see a lot of opposition there, but support of the road opening, and I'm not sure the date on Martinsburg when they're doing, Water Street. So,
My computer battery is at 17%, so do you want to get to Greg and Jen first?
yes,
See if they have any updates. And maybe Phil,
roundtable,
all right.
you can go back to the other screen.
Sure. You're gonna remember. Jen and Greg, do you guys have anything?
Did you, like, lose them?
They're here.
Stop.
I love that. Oh my God, that's too funny.
Who's in the movie?
I can't even get the part. I don't know what's happening. All right. Greg, Jen, you have anything?
Yeah, we had to postpone our initial meeting. I believe it's gonna be, Jen can chime in, I think it's this coming Wednesday. So we're gonna try to get everything together and what is the status on the permitting for the buck run? Or is it just on hold until we get insurance or what's how's that working right now?
I can't approve that when we've turned down Snare, trying to use the same routes.
Okay,
So it's that, current law says over 250 people. needs insurance. We've kind of fudged things in the past. And because SNRT's been in the news and the way things are going, the legislators are discussing it, about changing the insurance requirement level, maybe to 1,000 participants or 2,000 participants. Different numbers have been brought up. But that is a local law, so we want to stay within the law and treat everybody the same. So, and then as everybody probably knows, Timberview is doing an event. And they did not apply for an event permit. We'll see where things go and how things fall out, but, this is coming from above me, so obviously events, I don't know if you can get insurance, Greg. That's a question. Apparently, Barnes Corners never even tried to get any.
Okay.
So, I know my boss, Tim, is looking into other options for insurance, but, we're not where I can say we're moving ahead with it. So it's on hold for now. Any motorized events over the 250 mark, are currently on hold. So,
Okay, so you'll hold the application, and if for some reason the club could come up with some kind of a policy, an insurance or some way to circumvent that, then we can issue that along with the application you currently have.
yeah, so I would just, if something changes, I would contact you, resend it out to everybody and continue from there.
Okay, all right. So just so we don't have to redo everything, because I think we got everything. I think we got everything copied, but we'll just want to make sure that. And then, yeah, again, we'll get in touch with our current. We'll talk to our current members this coming meeting and find out about trail ambassadors for you. We'll get a list together of anybody who's interested. And I do believe we have a couple of the vests in the club equipment that are still in the packages. So if you need a few of them back, then once we figure out who our ambassadors want to be, we'll get whatever we have back to you. So you don't have to buy more.
Just give me a list of who you think should be your ambassadors and contacts, and then we'll set up a meeting for that.
Okay, and as soon as we get a chance and things dry out a little bit, I can we can start doing short rides and checking out some trail conditions and putting reports in. And along with that trail damage, as of right now, anybody, if you could put on there, anybody can come into the towpath and just report it to any of the staff members in there, and we can at least address it ourselves if it's close enough by with the club, or we can at least contact Ryan or you to let you know if it's something beyond our control or something we can't get to right away.
Okay.
Other than that, we'll get our first meeting together. We'll update everybody on the status of the book run at this point, and we'll go on from there. And we'll catch up with next meeting.
Okay.
My laptop's at 7%, Greg and Kaylee, so if we lose you, I'm really sorry.
Kaylee, is there anything you want to add?
I'm almost caught up with permits,
Woohoo!
so that's fun. Nope, other than that, I don't really have any updates. If there's anything that we want shared on Facebook, just let me know. Happy to post. Yeah.
Is there anybody else on that we missed?
No.
Okay, then we'll go with Black River Valley four-wheelers.
First meeting's gonna be November, April 5th. At Branningham Inn. I'm getting 3 kiosks made up now this week. Started doing that. And then hopefully when May rolls around, I'll get up to the middle road and get that all staked out and get that done for the black flies come out too much. I wanted to really try to get, ATV safety out there this year. So I got a hold of ASI out in California. And it's expensive. To do, for the guy to come here, it's $10,000. For the guy to come here to do UTVs, it's $11,000, 4 days. But that includes everything, his room and board, his meals, his travel expenses, because probably the guy's gonna come from, New England. So I really want to try to do that this year. I know we talked about it before, and this probably wouldn't be until fall anyways. For the ATV, you gotta have at least 4 people, not more than 6. And the UTV, you gotta have at least, I tried to find it when I got here, but I think you gotta have at least 6
It
people,
was 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
Minimum of 6,
Okay, was
maximum
it?
of 8, I
Okay.
think is what I read.
So, I don't know, it's gonna go through naturally, Lewis.
So we,
Uh,
do you want me to? I did a little bit of research after Mike sent me the info. So 10,000 for ATV, 11,000 for UTV training. They cannot be combined, so it has to be both. So
4 days.
21,000. They're each 4 days long
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah.
The other opportunity is you can send people to the trainings. They have different areas where you can send people to the trainings. Naturally Lewis does have a smaller grant, Small Things, Big Impact, that could potentially assist with if one of the clubs was interested in going out somewhere. It's a smaller grant, so it definitely wouldn't be able to cover $21,000 to bring them here. However, Jackie and I were talking and I was like, well, what if, each of the clubs wanted to have somebody that was trained, would potentially they be interested in like supplementing some of that income as well? So
It's a 6 right now. Yeah. Now it's a 6 hours. Like 55, something like that. Yeah. Have a good night.